Thank you very much, Joe, for that warm welcome. Just spending 10 minutes already in an IAFOR conference, and I'm starting to feel at home with the aims of, as you said, sometimes the place we can find our home is with other travellers, intellectually and otherwise. So good morning, everyone. It's really wonderful to be with you today. Let me just perch a bit more steadily. So as Joe said, I'm Alison Koslowski, and I'm a professor of social policy and now co-director of the Thomas Coram Research Unit. And that's based at the Institute of Education, which is just across the road. It's about 200 metres away from here. And the Thomas Coram Research Unit has a long history and an expertise in researching those children and families that are most vulnerable to economic and social adversity, including those with a migration background. And if you want to find out more about Thomas Coram, you might visit the Foundling Museum in Brunswick Square, which is not too far away from here during your stay. As you said, the focus of my own research at the moment is around social sustainability and parental leave policies in international perspective. And I work on the annual review of International Network of Leave Policies and Research, which is an open access database mapping the parental, maternity and paternity leave policies available now across 50 countries. So we have a similar group, I suppose, of colleagues and experts and network around the world. But the reason I've been invited to, I think, give the speech today and have on my guest pass, specially invited guest, which I think is a first, very nice, is because I'm the Pro-Provost Equity and Inclusion for University College London. And this means that I'm the senior academic champion at UCL for all things in the equality, diversity and inclusion space. So it's a very broad remit. It covers race equality, gender equality, LGBTQ rights and freedoms to religion and belief. And we're also working hard at the moment towards a tide change to our attitudes towards disability and accessibility. I don't know if you've noticed, but central London isn't so easy if you have any challenges around steps and other things. So I'm not alone in this endeavour. In terms of my EDI remit, there are literally hundreds of colleagues giving their time both as part of their formal roles, but also very much part, something on top of their formal roles as part of their citizenship contributions at UCL to create the communities which enable us to flourish. So much of my work in this role is to ensure colleagues and students can get on with their work as scholars and other roles at UCL unencumbered by prejudice or discrimination. So we all have preconceived ideas which can feed into prejudice of one kind or another. And I'm a firm believer that one of the ways in which we can work to notice these preconceptions is to experience the challenge of finding ourselves in dialogue with people from other backgrounds and places, such as this conference permits. So I encourage you to continue with the endeavour that Joe's already sparked this morning to introduce yourselves to people you don't know from countries that you've not been to whilst you have this opportunity. And who knows, you might just strike up a new friendship or a research collaboration. I've been incredibly lucky during my own career to be able to attend international conferences regularly. And my observations are that these international relationships and collaborations may be slow to form. They build slowly over time, perhaps over decades or more, but they yield, before they yield sort of obvious fruit of a research collaboration or scientific visit. But after 25 years as an academic, I find that the relationships of the sort that we make here are the most valuable of all my professional relationships. So my role today here is to welcome you to this exciting conference, to London and to UCL. And the UCL bit feels a bit cheeky given that I'm standing in SOAS, but hopefully someone will also say a few words from SOAS at some point. I'm actually quite excited to be here in SOAS, as I've been working about 100 metres from here for about 3 years now. I was at the University of Edinburgh before coming down to UCL, but this is my very first time in the building, in SOAS. So I know that I was saying that conferences are great for building international friendships and relationships and collaborations, but sometimes they can also be very useful for connecting you with your immediate neighbours. I don't know if you've also had that experience before. So I understand that people are attending this conference from over 70 countries. Is that right? Or is it more? 80 countries. So very, very warm welcome to London. I really hope you enjoy your time here. There's so much to see, obviously too much to fit into a small visit, but do just pick something. Many of our museums are free to the public, so I very much encourage you to explore. And a very warm welcome to this particular part of London, to Bloomsbury, and which UCL sort of has its heart. So the International Academic Forum, as we've seen, shares many of its main aims with UCL. Both organisations are dedicated to encouraging interdisciplinary discussion, to facilitating intercultural awareness, and to promoting international exchange, principally through educational interaction and academic research. Ever since UCL's inception in 1826, and we have our bicentenary just around the corner, we have known that diversity is our greatest strength. UCL was the first university in England to welcome women as students, as well as students from any religion or social background. Our university exists precisely because our founders wanted to make the spirit of inquiry available to the many, not just the few. And you can potentially see one of our co-founders, the philosopher Jeremy Bentham, as he still sits in our now student centre, which is on Gordon Street, just a couple of 100 metres away, about 200, because he left instructions essentially that his remains be permanently preserved. It's a slightly odd sight, but you can go into the student centre and see Jeremy Bentham sat there, a bit like a waxwork, but it's his real skeleton underneath. So he never wanted to leave. So our cohort at UCL now represents a diverse community of over 50,000 committed, engaged and intellectually curious students that represent over 160 nationalities. So that trumps even IAFOR. Not to mention 16,000 staff, which is truly ginormous, from over 120 countries, and an alumni community spread across the world. So we're a community that allows us to truly think globally, and for that reason, I'm very happy that we're able to be co-hosts of this conference. So UCL then was founded on the notion that it's possible to live together well and to believe radically different things. At the time of our foundation, you had to be a member of the Church of England to attend university at Oxford or Cambridge. That was kind of the options. There was also Edinburgh, north of the border. The idea was that to live together well, everyone had to believe the same things, to be able to sign what are called the 39 Articles of Religion. But UCL was founded for admission without such a test. So it was intended to be a place that encouraged diversity. And this means that at our heart, we have a mindset of epistemic humility, of an openness to the possibility that I may be wrong, even about my passionate convictions, and even when I believe those convictions to flow from my own experience. So it's been a busy week here in London, indeed across the UK. I think the football has already been mentioned. So that should be quite fun on Sunday. There'll be quite a special atmosphere in town. We also have a new government, in case you hadn't noticed, a time of change indeed. Indeed, this year in 2024, around half the world's population are going to the polls, making it the biggest election year in history. And I'm very grateful that despite many issues still in the UK, we have been able to have a peaceful transition of power. And I think that this must owe something to epistemic humility. As well as peaceful transitions of power, epistemic humility allows for intellectual curiosity. It allows us to remain open and hungry for new ideas. And looking at the conference programme, there's going to be ample opportunity to indulge your intellectual curiosity. Keeping your mind open and your curiosity alive will reward you with countless opportunities, interesting conversations, and hopefully wonderful surprises. And I wish this for you in abundance over the next few days. So welcome very much to London UCL and to the conference.